How are you? I mean, where are you from? Tell me, how do you spell your name?
So Amine, Amine Bellajdel,
Uh-huh.
Bellajdel, and I live in San Francisco, California, and I'm originally from Morocco,
Wow. Where
North
did you
Africa.
move to California?
I moved to California in 2010. So actually, we are July. So in June was 10 years ago.
From Morocco?
From Morocco directly, yes.
Very cool.
Be a tech entrepreneur.
Nice. So, tell me, how did you get involved in sustainable fashion? This was before you came to the US?
No, so I was. It was actually not long ago. So in 2019, I was still actually working at Google as an engineer, a partner management engineer. And then so one day actually so I like documentaries and I watch them a lot. And one day I saw the documentary The True Cost.
Yeah.
So like the atrocities and the like collapsed buildings and like a lot of injustice and a lot of ecological disasters, and so actually one of the things that actually really dear and close to my heart is human rights, coming from a country that doesn't have a great record in terms of like human rights, so and that's actually why I wanted to like do a company that actually combines both like human rights and like environmental sustainability, and so like ethically was a great place, and so when I saw the true cost, I decided I wanted to only buy like ethical clothes and try to buy as less as possible. But I'm especially for men, there was like no single place to find the sustainable clothing. So I decided to like, okay, so we have technology knowledge, I can gather a lot of engineers around me, and we can build this.
How long ago was this?
It's 2019. So
It
so
was recent.
June 2019. Yeah, so pretty recent, about a year.
Wow, very nice. So tell us about Ethically. This is the company you launched after you discovered all these atrocities and environmental issues. You founded Ethically. So tell us about it, please.
That's correct. So Ethycally is actually a tech company that's building a marketplace for ethical fashion. So we allow on one side a bunch of brands to join Ethically, and so we built like a technology like to allow them to, especially if they are on Shopify, we allow them to import their products automatically, like in 2 clicks, and so they put like their products on Ethically. And on the other side, we work with the nonprofit organizations
Mhm.
that care and support ethical fashion or like human rights or like environmental sustainability. And so we create for them something we call a boutique page on Ethically, and they promote it. And any sales that we generate from those boutiques go back to those organizations. Because we want Ethically to not only be a nonprofit company that makes money for the shareholders, but we want also to allow a lot of organizations to fund their operations through the ethical fashion selling. So yeah, so it's a very big, it's a Ethically is a point where for-profit businesses and non-profit causes like meet.
Okay. And how do you vet the companies that you sell through Ethically? I mean, they sell through Ethically.
That's correct. Yeah, and so your question is how do I vet them?
Hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
You vet
So
them.
we don't do the vetting process, because if we do the vetting process ourselves, that's going to be a conflict of interest.
Uh-huh.
So that's why we opted for the solution that the brands need to bring a certification
Okay.
on their own. So either they have USA Fair Trade, or like if they there is a very good organization we love called Remake, that has like that has a vetting process.
Okay.
So so far, all the brands that we have admitted into Ethically, they are Remake vetted,
Hmm.
except one, which is US Fair Trade. So they have to have some sort of certification that they bring. If they don't have a certification, we have exceptions where the brand um, has to be recommended by one of the nonprofits we work with.
Okay.
And so basically we trust the nonprofit, not the brand. So we trust the nonprofit to like tell us, hey, we really know this organization, we worked with them, we know their process, so we can trust them. But even then, they are only that brand will only show on that organization's page, but not anywhere else on the website. So we are very like strict in terms of like these processes.
So this means companies have to be like a little bit bigger, you know, like to get these certifications. Like smaller businesses maybe don't apply for this platform.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So that's why I said we love Remake, is because their certification is free.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that some certifications like ask you to pay $1,000 a year or something, and we believe that's very high for a lot of like small businesses. But like there are some free certifications out there that you can go through. Like Remake is one of them. I encourage people to like look into it.
Mm-hmm.
The website is remake.world.
World, okay.
Not .com, .world. And so yeah, so if it's a free certification, then it's just a matter of like willing to do it.
Of course.
So yeah.
This means companies come to you. You don't look for companies to put on your website. They come to you, right?
No, we do outreach to some companies. So like for example, we did at the beginning for the brands we have now. We reached to the companies that were all Remake vetted. So we went to the Remake. So they have a page on their website. So we went to all the companies that we thought were small or like because they vetted also some big brands. So
Mm-hmm.
we went to the small ones and like we looked at them and like we contacted them. I mean, you have to contact you have to when you build a marketplace, there is a term called seeding the marketplace. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to do the initial work. So we did reach the brands, but we also had some brands reach out to us.
Okay. How many employees do you work with currently?
So right now, so we are 6 in the company. So we are 4 engineers. We are like I said, we are a tech company. We are very heavy on engineering, and we have one designer and we have one marketer.
Okay. And how many brands do you carry right now?
So actually, ethically, even if we started like building it like a year ago, like it was supposed to launch in March, and so we have 10 brands. And before we finished our call, we actually had like another one join, so 11 effectively. But you know, with the crisis and stuff, like brands have become like very busy, and like things got really difficult for them.
Mhm.
And so, but things are picking up again.
Okay.
So we should be able to we will be having about 15 brands by August.
Okay, so I read on your website that one of the main issues that you encountered was that you had to go through many websites and it was not easy. So if I go to your website, I can order from your website.
Yep, that's correct. That's correct. So we manage the whole transaction process. So you're going to see a lot of companies as you go that call themselves marketplace.
Mhm.
In reality, they are actually directories. I think they call them marketplace because I don't know if they don't understand the terminology maybe, but like in technology, when you say a marketplace in like in e-commerce, that
Mhm.
means that you manage two of the most important things, which is the transaction and the customer service.
Okay.
If you are just putting links and people have to click on the link and buy from a brand website, and the transaction is done on the brand website and customer service is done on the brand website, then you're not really a marketplace, you are a directory.
Okay.
So for us, we manage both the transaction and and uh, and the customer service. Yeah.
Did you found issues with the coronavirus crisis? Did it affect your company?
Yeah, I mean, with the coronavirus and a lot of people like out of job, they like a lot of like companies have seen like sales plummeting. So our sales were like very low. I mean, especially like we started in March and like the coronavirus was right there. So obviously, the economic crisis is gonna play a big role into people are gonna, if I have money, do I buy ethical fashion or like do I buy food? They're
Mhm.
gonna probably choose to buy food, but that's okay. So I think um, things are going to start picking up like starting September, hopefully, and especially that people are just gonna get used to the situation, and they're gonna like, okay, well, we need to go back to some normalcy and get used to working from home. So yeah, so coronavirus was a very big hit, especially that it all happened the moment we were supposed to launch.
Yeah. So, if I may ask, how do you manage salaries for your employees? How do you handle this with the crisis and everything?
Yeah, so actually most of the people that we have in the team are co-founders. So we don't have anybody that, so there is a lot of, I know a lot of startups like they do like they have co-founders and then they have interns that they don't pay. So even for our company, like when we are like, if we have like for example, the three main co-founders are not paid, but still like everybody has like a stake in the company.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so because I want, if the company succeed, I want everybody to have like a percentage in it, and that's actually very important for us. And in terms of like like thankfully we have like enough funds to survive. We still have like enough money to survive for 2 years, even if like the sales like go to zero. So that's, yeah. So and that goes back to a really solid planning that we had in the past, because building a marketplace is very tough. And you know, because you have to build to bring multiple sides, you know, supply and demand and partners. And so we understood that, and even without corona, we knew that getting the company to a cruising altitude and making enough money to pay everybody is going to be like a very long time. So we made sure that we had enough funds for to survive.
Of course. Do you operate with brands only in the United States or abroad?
No, we do operate with the brands in abroad, but the condition is that they have to ship in United States. So the brand doesn't have to be in the United States, but they have to sell in the United States because that's our target market.
Okay. And you ship, if the brands are in Australia, let's say you ship to Australia if it's needed?
No, we don't. So we don't accept like any purchases from outside the US.
Ah, okay. So it
So if
only,
the brand is in Australia, they have to ship to United States. And if they sell in Australia, that's not us, because we, you know, yeah. So because it's in terms of marketing,
Mhm.
uh, building a marketplace for one country is very tough.
Mhm.
Like if you go like very like broad, like it's just like trying to boil the ocean.
Mhm.
So we have to narrow down our marketing so that it's like very focused. I mean, we'll expand at some point outside the United States, but not right now.
Step by step.
Yep, exactly.
Awesome. So, what would you tell? Do you think things are changing in terms of sustainability? What would you tell newer generations about why sustainable fashion, responsible fashion?
Things are definitely changing. I had some very constructive um, conversations with some investors. You know, there are some investors out there that only invest in companies that target Generation Z, not even millennials. They are like thinking beyond millennials now. Generation Z, they are still in high school or like middle school, but like some investors, if they are focused, and if you're building a company for Generation Z, they will invest in your company, and those are some of the investors we talk to. And so there is a very big hope in the future generations,
Mhm.
uh, especially that now that these generations, they have seen that bad situations can happen. You know, coronavirus, pandemics, wars, difficult conditions are not something of the past. They can come back.
Mhm.
So now they understand that actually global warming is looming and around the corner. And if we don't take action, it's going to be their lives and it's going to be hell in like 40, 50 years. So they understand that. And so I don't think I have much advice to give them because they already know.
Mhm.
The only thing that I can tell them is probably just keep reminding yourself so that you can keep committed to doing things the right way, because you know people forget and can like slip and like start doing things like the bad way again. And that's yeah. And so I think the hope is very big. And so there is another thing that I can tell maybe brands that are focusing on sustainability is that with what happened with the pandemic, you need to think outside of the box, especially that a lot of people, even if we go back to normal, a lot of people are going to be like very conscious about like germs and like especially if you have like a boutique or something. So a lot of these sustainable brands, they need to heavily focus on virtual worlds and like e-commerce and like and one of the things, for example, that we're doing is one feature that's coming to Ethycally, and you are the first blogger who is getting this information, by the way, because this is very new. Is we are adding video chat possibilities, so you can chat with the brand through video on the website.
Nice.
So instead of the brand, like instead of the people just sitting in a boutique and waiting for people to come in and out, they can sit in front of the camera and wait for people to come and talk to them about the brand. And like, if you want me to show you a product, I can like show you the product, how it looks, or and so on. So I think this is the type of like dynamic change that you're going to see because of the pandemic.
Yeah, we have to get ahead of the curve now, because right now everybody's doing online. We thought we were improving or doing something new, but everybody's doing online. So the step ahead is super important, right?
That's correct. That's correct. And I think video is going to be like very, very crucial part of the online experience, especially that we saw with the pandemic. Zoom all of a sudden became one of the highest valued companies like in the world. So I think instead of, especially people who are like now they're becoming like conscious about like the germs and stuff, they're gonna be like, okay, so maybe I want to see the product on a video chat instead of like going to a boutique or like to a retail store.
Yeah, because we're not really coming back to a normal, no? Like the normal that as we knew it, we're coming to a completely different. It's not the normal, it's just a new reality, and we have to adjust anyways.
That's correct. That's correct.
Can you speak about some of the organizations you work with?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of them is actually a nonprofit, and it was the first one, called San Francisco Fashion Community Week. And it's so actually they were like a fashion organization, but now they are like veering more toward like sustainable fashion. And so they have like the most glamorous fashion show in San Francisco every year. Another one is Make Manhattan Fair,
Okay.
which is an organization that focuses on promoting ethical and fair trade businesses in New York and Manhattan. And so that organization is like, they have already a boutique on Ethycally, and so they are working on bringing more brands into the mix. There is also New York Fair Trade Coalition. Well, not officially, actually, just to be very fully transparent, not officially, but their founder, she created a page on our website called a Little Black Fair Trade Dress. And the goal is basically to only sell black dresses, and the proceeds from the page will go to Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
So it was like more like a political statement. These are like basically some of like the organizations we work with. There are multiple others, and we encourage you to have your own boutique on Ethycally if you if you want to do like affiliate marketing with your blog, or if you want to donate proceeds to an organization.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna look into it definitely.
Yeah.
Is there a parameter that maybe that you have to say no to a company, even if they're certified by these organizations, to get into the website? Have you had to say no to somebody?
So like for example, when I said we looked at the remake approved brands, one of the brands that was there that was approved, it was Adidas. But Adidas was not approved on the company level. It was approved on the product level. So that means they have one product that's sustainable, but other lines that are not. And that's not how we go. Like even Adidas or like any brand has one product that's sustainable and others that are not. That's a big no for us. So you have to have the whole line sustainable. And so we just didn't reach to these organizations so far. So and even if they came to us, we would definitely say no. So a lot of people like ask me like, where there are like some organizations that you can add to your website, like even if you don't work with them, like Everlane and Reformation, and then I mean, we don't like those organizations in terms of like ethical record. They are very questionable,
Okay.
and you will see that Remake itself has always have problems with Everlane, specifically. They always call them out about like some, some practices and stuff. So so yeah, so we're very picky about how we do it. Yeah, and like I said, we will say no if you have only a subset of products certified, but not others. You have to have everything certified. Yeah.
Very interesting. And the process to get into, how long does it take? Like you apply and then what happens?
So if you have a certification that we approve of, we have like a list of like 4 certifications that we already know. If you already have it, we just give you a link and you can import your products to the website in 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Because like I said, we built the technology to like get all the products automatically. And then somebody from our team will go and like put every product in its correct category, and that's it. And so the products will be on Ethically, probably like usually like it takes 24 hours for the whole thing. Um, if you have a certification that we don't know about, it's probably going to take a week or so, so that somebody from our team can go and look into that certification and see if it's at a standard high enough for us to accept it.
Okay. I've heard a while ago that some certifications, for example, cotton, that the standards in Europe are different from the standards in the US. Is this a matter of conflict for you or not?
Yeah, so so we understand like that issue, especially like like that issue is worse actually in the makeup industry,
Mhm.
where the US allows a lot of toxic materials in makeup that Europe doesn't allow.
Mhm.
So far we didn't go that far, and like cotton certification alone is not like enough for a brand to be part of Ethically, because if you have certified organic cotton and you are treating your workers very badly, you can take that cotton and eat
Yeah.
it. So I'm just gonna say it very honestly. So we don't want your organic cotton if you're like like treating like your employees as trash and stuff, because human rights is like much more important than organic cotton. So because human rights for us comes before the environment. Environment is also very important, but human rights
Is the top.
is the top, because you don't understand like I don't mean you don't understand, like a lot of people don't understand that sometimes if somebody doesn't have like cannot like meet like make ends meet, they can like commit suicide, their kids can go to crime and so on. So because that's why it's a very top priority for us.
Yes, because if there's no human rights, there's nothing. It doesn't matter if you have clean cotton or clean nothing. If people are dying and people are poor and people are living and working in miserable conditions, I understand, and I'm familiar with the work of Remake, obviously, and coincidentally, that movie, that documentary that you mentioned, was also one of the reasons I started doing this. It was an eye opener because I started doing my research to open a fashion line, which I didn't continue with that, but it was an eye opener. It was like, what is going on? So yeah, very nice, very good. I mean, thank you so much for your time,
Of
and
course.
let's keep in touch. I will do some research, and hopefully this interview can open eyes also to other people that are interested in working with you, and I wish you all the success always, okay?
Thank you. One last thing I want to add actually is beyond just building our own company and doing the marketplace. One thing that we do actually pro bono, like for free all the time, is for any fashion brand that's like sustainable, or like a blogger that blogs about sustainability, or like a nonprofit. Our like inboxes are always, I would say our doors, but like we don't have a store, but our inbox like are always open if you have questions, or like if you need help with technology. We don't have the capacity to do work, but we have the capacity to advise you on like how to do, like for example, SEO, or like how to do like online marketing. So if anybody listens to this blog, or like yourself, if you need help with something, feel free to let us know and we can share with you experiences and knowledge.
Absolutely. I'm going to be the first one to reach out because I'm doing this all on my own. So I absolutely can welcome some very professional advice.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Thank you so much. Okay. Take
Thank
care
you.
and have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.